Okay, I'm doing this show specifically for John Blaze. I did hear your show, and I'm going to answer some of your questions. But if you've seen my show that preceded this show here, it'll give you some answers to some things on here. So hopefully you did see that show and you could get some idea historically what's been going on. Okay, with that being said, my laptop is not charged. It's actually charging right now. I got to stand up. It's the way my charging area is. Instead of laying down or being in a comfortable position, and I'm blowing my nose constantly, so I'm not in a lot of comfort making this show. The answer to your some of your questions is the word proliferation. Proliferation. What makes me different, you said, than anybody else? Well, I may have talked about people on here, but I don't proliferate it. Now, unless something has been dealt with me on a highly personal level that involves me and or my family, okay, that's a different story. And throughout historically, I don't do a show every single day, like I don't talk about any of the topics, where I seem to be the topic on here for how many years I lost count. John, Larry, kind of hard to figure out where you're coming from. You're supportive, then you're not supportive. It's the propaganda, Larry, that gets thrown around, like you've heard on, you said it was Alberto's show, where, and I don't know if that was an old tape of Holly from, I didn't even get to listen to the whole thing. I wanted to see what you were talking about. So I went over there and just heard briefly what I heard. Holly, to explain who she was, Holly did have her panties bunched up kind of tight. Because Holly, number one, tried to take credit of everything that had to do with Nika. Well, the fact is that Holly found me. She found me. I was in, when I was seeing this girl named Joy, who lived in a less than nice living situation. And she saw the rapport I had with the kids. I was teaching them some English words that perhaps they didn't know. Very good rapport with the kids and the people living in these squalid conditions. Apparently at the time, Holly was looking for a cause. She came across my show and she commended me for that. She wanted to know, who can I help? At the time I was seeing Joy, Larry. At the time I was seeing Joy, I was trying to help her and her two kids and her mom. And I did. Even had a floor built in one of these little tiny rooms she lived in. I didn't have to do that. I said, I got an idea. Here's a good candidate for you. Excellent candidate. You're looking for somebody to help. Okay, cool. Let's use Joy. All right. So she made her personal communication to Joy. And Joy was in constant communication with the hand that's going to feed her. And that happened to be Holly. So Holly began to send her money for this and that. But unfortunately for Holly, as it happened with Nika, she didn't realize where the money was going. And I won't say something legal on here, as I found out 6 months ago where some of that money was going. I'm not going to get into a legal battle with that. It's unfortunate that I discovered this, and I've only known this about 6 months ago, unfortunately, where some of her money was going, but we won't get into that. I'm not even going to touch that with your dick, okay? So there was this little war of attrition going on with Holly, you know. She had her panties in a bunch, trying to take credit for this, trying to take credit for that. She donated. I had a fund for Joy's family. And it wasn't just a family. It was going to help out the community because I did meet members of that community. Bags of rice, canned food, stuff like that. Okay, made $100 because I was being attacked by the trolls. It didn't go beyond $100. Mikey 550 gave 50. And who was it? Holly? They gave another 50. But it did go where it's supposed to go. Okay, I couldn't afford to feed the community on $100, so I said, just let Joy take it and get her kid a dress, her girl a dress. So it worked out okay. Fine. Till the trolls, of course, came in. Holly made a lot of claims that I was calling her off the hook, saying this and that. That is so not true. That is, I don't really feel like going into this, but fucking A. That was so not true. She had her panties in a bunch. Well, first of all, she didn't appreciate the fact that I was on a fucking deadline. You know, I had made a trip that was going to be for a month. And at that time, I didn't have anybody in particular I was going to meet, except Holly was going to have a party. It was a combination birthday party for somebody. It was also going to be a fundraiser. She figured, well, these people were there. And I talked about this on my last show. Good time to get a fun. Let's get a video to me, Frank. Show me so I could show my contributors that's coming over to my party. Show us what is the living situation. So whether I had anybody to meet that month or not, it turned out well for me, but as I did meet somebody important in my life, it's still with me now. I went there to that house. Father was home, mother was home, photographed them, interviewed them in the house, outside the house, the geographical area around the house, to provide the footage that Holly Dunn, ain't that amazing? Same name as Roberto? Holly Dunn. Holly Dunno. Roberto Dunno requested from me, and that's exactly what I did. So, Larry, you got to get your facts straight because it's so easy to get swayed by people. There was no foul play with anyone. Zero. No foul play. This is what you call spreading lies, Larry. You know that. You were involved with it too, weren't you? When you said that I spent your money meant for a lawyer on a bracelet. You were lying about that. You had no solid proof that that happened. But now you're taking a big stance against me now, right? Right? A little more popularity, right? When I stood up for you, Ray, I tell you, I stood up for you a lot when I didn't have to. See my last show is my best answer to you. Okay, now, did I ever get involved with a back and forth with people on YouTube? Absolutely. Only in my own defense. Did I have moments of anger? Did I say a few things maybe I shouldn't have said out of anger? Sure. Hey, man, I'm human. But I didn't proliferate it. That's the difference. I didn't do a daily show about all these trolls or anybody that was giving me shit all the time. I did topic matter. And every now and then I would give in and say, hey, that's bullshit. Prove your point. Where's the facts? And I would have an argument with people on here. And a couple of times I got pissed off and I said a couple of things I probably shouldn't have said. But I've already said that before. I've said that actually many times in past streams, a long time ago. I'm not totally innocent on here, but I'm not anything like these people. I've only defended myself. That was the only thing I ever did, Larry. And why I even have to explain this to you is not even worth my time. Tell you what, Larry, you believe in whatever you want to believe. You could believe in anything you want to believe. I'll give you one credit that you did contribute approximately $600 to go toward the attorney to help with the Barry situation. And that was the biggest donation I got on there. And I did thank you for that, by the way. I certainly did. I give thanks where it's necessary to give thanks. But I don't have to come on here like this is a fucking court of law and explain myself to anybody on here. I don't have to explain shit to anybody. And the only reason I do talk about it is just to get the facts straight. Holly was not innocent. And remember, if it wasn't for me, Holly would never have a fund that would try to help Joy. Then when she found out that Joy was coming up with excuses like she did with me, oh, the kid's sick, the kid's got a fever, every other week there was something going on. She wanted money for this, money for that. And yes, Joy was being paid to put her phone on record from Holly. That was a true story. You know how I know it? You want to know how I know it? From Robert. Robert is her cousin. They were like glue. They hung out together. He wasn't that fond of her. But I even occasionally talk to Robert every now and then. He's a guy that does tattoos. He does tattoos for a living. Robert's the one that told me that Joy purposely recorded me for the right of request of Holly Dunn. There you go, your answer on that, Larry. Yeah, purposely. Why? Because she wanted to get on the good side of the Triple R Club. Because she had her panties in a bunch because she wanted all the credit for everything that happened with any of the donations. So I turned her over to, not from Joy, I turned her on to Nika at that time. I said, okay, now I really found a good candidate. I've been there. I've seen the living situations, so on and so forth. And it was bad. I mean, it was bad. I felt shit. I cannot see people living that way. There's your answer, Larry. And I provided the foundation for Holly to do a fund for her. As it turned out, even Holly got bamboozled by Nika. That's right. The money that she was setting for very specific purposes, Larry Evans, for medical and so forth, was not being used for that. So it got to a point that Holly said, give me the name of the doctor. I will send the money personally to the doctor. And she was right about that. She should have done that in the beginning, Larry Evans. She should have done that in the beginning. This chick in the wheelchair took advantage of a lot of people. Nobody's ever touched her, and I've never, ever been alone with her. We went to the mall with her father. It was never alone. Gilda was with. She came over to the condo and was staying out with her mother. Never, ever, ever alone with her. I'm not that stupid. Now, especially, and hell, Gilda was nice to her too. Take her outside in a wheelchair. Gilda was putting makeup on for her to look nice, fixing her hair a little bit. We've done a lot of great things for Nika and her family. And that's why I get really pissed off when I hear shit like this. I did wonders. We even ran into them, even when supposedly Nika was against me. Me and my girlfriend ran in twice into Nika and her mom at Precision Diagnostics over in Cebu. And her mom even told me, no, we got nothing against you, Frank. We know it's the trolls and all that stuff. It was all cool. I even gave them 2,000 pesos to help with their diagnostic that they were going to do that day. I was going for some tests and I just happened to run into them. It was 2 times. We even took them out to lunch. But the lunch wasn't enough. We filled their bellies and then they wanted to go to this place that makes all these chocolate shakes and stuff. And she wanted a big old chocolate shakes. She not only wanted that, but she wanted a bunch of these chocolate candies. Taking advantage of me, taking advantage of my kindness. There, I'm not going to explain any more than that, Larry. Larry, look, you can believe whoever the fuck you want to believe because I don't give a shit because you're nobody to me. I thank you again for your contribution, and it was used for that purpose. Whether you believe it or not, it don't really make a hill of beans shit to me. Just listen to my last show, and that pretty much tells a little bit of the history of why I've been under the attack on here. I hope that answers your question along with what I'm talking about today. No, I've never defiled. I've never touched a woman when I wasn't supposed to. I've never been with any children doing anything wrong. I've never was alone with Nika. I've done nothing but help the family more than she deserved. But then a lot of people got burnt, Larry. A lot of people got burnt and ate crow, Larry, because they did a donation drive for her. And what did she do with the money instead of supposed to be for medical and important food? She took the rest of her fucking family on a fucking vacation to Bohol with the donations money, which was meant for something a little bit more important. That's all I have to say. Not saying anything more than that. If you don't believe that, you can shove it up your fucking ass. I don't give a shit. That's it. I'm done talking about this shit. The fact is, they are called trolls for a reason. Not because they're trying to spread fairy dust around here and sprinkles of love. It's quite the opposite. They want to contain drama, controversy to enhance their shows. You've been on long enough to figure that out, and you've been part of this too when you were with Fazio that time. I'll give you $40, Fazio, to say fuck you, Frank, and there's you in the background with a girlfriend at the time saying fuck you, Frank, fuck you, Frank. You're no better than them. You are no fucking better than them, but I tolerated you for a while, but no more. If you want to take sides, you go ahead and take sides. There's no skin off my back. Absolutely none at all. I laid out my story as something you could believe it or not. That's exactly the facts and how things transpired and how I got this so-called bad reputation on YouTube. I didn't create it. It was created for me. And as I said before, did I ever defend myself on here? Fucking yeah. Fucking A, I did. With facts, not bullshit. That's the difference between me and others, okay? But it's proliferation, Larry, of constantly calling somebody. You're making reference to Barry. You say, well, Barry's in a jail cell because of things that he said and did. And you agree on that. But Frank, you said the same fucking things about Barry. Only thing I said about Barry was a factual truth. And that's why he's in jail and I'm not. The factual truth about Barry. Okay? I had some idea of what he was doing on the side that I couldn't prove at the time, and it's finally coming out through somebody else's channel that I was right after all. How about that, Larry? That he did do certain things that I pretty much knew he did. Pretty much knew he did. Am I totally innocent on YouTube? It's according to what you want to call about innocent or guilty. If you're defending yourself, your character, your family, your woman, call it what you want. But I wasn't on every single day talking about every single troll out there because I would never have enough time to talk about each troll out there. If something came up that pertained to me and I felt it was worth addressing, I would address it. That's it. There's your response. No more than that.